For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nicholas, and I'm the group leader for the Software Services group here at the APS. And I'd like to welcome everyone to the initial session of EPICS training classes. And I hope these are going to be very informative and very exciting for everyone. To give you some background on this, the last time that the APS did or held a very comprehensive set of training courses was back in 2004. So if you're counting, that's like 10 years ago already. And since then, there's been a lot of new developments in EPICS, and a lot of new people have joined the APS community. So it's about time that we have another series of classes like this. And we're starting today, and we're going to go through the end of March of 2015. So we're going to have about 6 months of training courses. And we're going to try to take breaks around all the holidays and the startup period so that we don't interfere with people's schedules. The audience for this is really everyone. New users, people who've never used EPICS before, all the way through people who've had 10 or 20 years worth of experience. And if you're a new user, maybe you only want to come to the introductory courses. Maybe you only want to see some of the lectures and not the tutorials, or maybe you want everything. And maybe if you're an expert who's been here for a while, you want a refresher, or you want to learn something new that's not in your area of expertise. And so all of these courses are being offered a la carte. So come to the ones that you feel are going to be the most interesting, or the ones you're going to get the most amount of value out of. Before we continue, I want to let everybody know that we are recording these sessions. The speakers will have audio recorded on a microphone, and then we're going to record video that's going through the projectors. So just so everybody knows. This year in 2014, you're going to hear primarily from 4 speakers. You'll hear from Andrew Johnson, Jim Stevens, Matt Newville, and Tim Mooney. And so Andrew, who's going to speak today up in the front, is a member of the Software Services group. He came to the APS in 1999 and originally joined what was the Controls group at that time. Before then, he worked at the Royal Greenwich Observatory in England. And Andrew is the core maintainer of EPICS Base, so everyone who uses EPICS uses something that Andrew wrote. He maintains the website and all the public developer tools, and he also co-chairs the V4 working group. Jim, who you'll hear from tomorrow, is a member of the Controls group at the APS. He has many years of experience working on EPICS applications, and his emphasis is on testing and debugging EPICS device drivers, creating accelerator control applications, and designing displays. Matt Newville is an X-ray spectroscopist. He works in the CARS beamline, the CARS CAT, for the University of Chicago, and he joined in 1997, and he's the primary maintainer of PyEPICS, which is a Python EPICS wrapper that's very popular at the APS. And finally, Tim Mooney is a member of the Software Services group. He joined the APS back in 1993 after having been working at NIST, and he works extensively with beamlines. He's the original creator of the Synapse package, which is used by all the beamlines here that use EPICS, and he's also the main maintainer of a lot of packages that are in Synapse. So what I want to do is go over the schedule right now for 2014. Our schedule this year is very fixed. The schedule for 2015 still hasn't been finalized yet. So today our session is going to be about introductions. So after you're done listening to me, Andrew is going to give an introduction to EPICS. So he's going to talk about what EPICS is, its purpose, its history, how it's used. He's going to talk about the EPICS collaboration and the community of people that are around it, as well as the ecosystem of software that we use at the APS. And he'll also mention a little bit about software that we don't use here that other facilities use. And you'll hear a little bit about V4 in there as well. And then later after that, we'll talk about the basics of the channel access protocol. What is it? What are the command line tools? And what are a brief overview of other clients that use it. Tomorrow, we're going to start a 2-day session on clients. So we're going to talk about MEDM and CA-Qt-DM. So for MEDM tomorrow, you'll learn about what it does, how to use it, all the widget types, how to make screens with it, and then you'll also have a hands-on tutorial in which part you'll make your own MEDM screens. And then we're going to have on October 9th a parallel session to that in a way. We're going to talk about the same thing with CA-Qt-DM. So you'll learn how to use it and have a hands-on tutorial using it yourselves. After that, we're going to talk about client programming. So there'll be a number of classes on that. You'll talk about some more concepts in channel access, like the network protocol, beacons, searches, repeaters, and how to configure environment variables for it. After that, you'll learn about the C and Perl APIs, and there's going to be a hands-on tutorial where you can write C or Perl code to make a client application. On the 24th of October, Matt Newville will join us, and he'll talk about programming clients in Python. So he'll talk about the PyEPICS API. He'll demo some tools in PyEPICS that are not available with the C and Perl APIs. And again, there will be a hands-on tutorial where you can write your own Python code. Then we'll have a number of days where we talk about databases and IOCs. So we'll have a longer lecture, it's 3 hours, on database principles. So you'll learn about records and record types, fields, scanning, links, packed and locked sets. And then the next class will be about database practice. So you'll learn about the actual record types in Base and Synapse, how to navigate all of the reference material, and what DBD and DB files are. After that, there will be a session and a tutorial on creating your own databases. So you'll learn about the actual programming syntax, as well as the visual database creation tool, and how to create records, links, and macros, how to have them call each other. We call it hierarchical designs. And then again, there will be a longer tutorial where you'll work on making your own databases. After that, we'll talk about IOCs. So you'll have a class on creating IOCs where you'll learn about the top area, what make base app and templates do, the directory layout of an IOC, as well as the commands you type with the IOC command prompt. There will be a course, an hour course on the state notation language, where you'll learn about state machines, when to use it, and maybe when not to use state notation language, the program structure, how to make variables, and a few other things. And then finally, there will be a 2-hour hands-on tutorial where you'll create an IOC and do a state notation language programming exercise. So that will end the 2014 courses, and then we have a list of topics in 2015. So we'll talk about device support, we'll talk about managing IOC support code, you'll learn about Synapse and what it offers for beamlines. There will be a number of courses, I think 4 or 5 classes on area detector. So you'll learn about using area detector as a user, as somebody who configures area detector to run at a beamline, and then you'll learn about programming plugins for area detector drivers. You'll also have classes on ASIN drivers and writing them. There will be a class on stream devices along with a tutorial on that. And then the BCDA group will be presenting information about motors. So you'll learn about what kind of motor support's available, how to use the motor record, and how to write a driver for motors. There will also be a talk on scanning at the APS and what beamlines can do as far as scanning, what options are available to run scans and collect data. And then there will be some other topics. We'll talk about the PV gateway, how to actually build and compile EPICS, and that will probably have a hands-on tutorial as well. For real serious software engineers, there will be information about programming features in EPICS, like libcom and the thread libraries that are in there. And then we'll also talk about IOCs, what the boot parameters are, how to use IOC tools, maybe some information about debugging IOCs. So this is a huge amount of topics and a lot of information. And there's still a lot more that's not been covered here. So if somebody has suggestions or comments, or if they feel something's left out, let me or one of the speakers know about that, and we can see how to try to accommodate that. And if anybody sees that a topic has been left out and they would like to volunteer to give a talk about it, we'd be very welcome to have that as well. You can find the schedule online. We'll have a link from the main EPICS webpage, and as well as there's a wiki page that has the schedule as it evolves. So before I let you go and you can hear about the real material that you came here for today, I wanted to give people some prerequisites for participating in the hands-on tutorials. All of the classes will be in this room in A1100, and you'll need to bring your own laptop with you to participate. A VNC client on your laptop is probably the best thing to do, but you could use SSH and X forwarding or Exceeds if you want to try that. It also would be helpful to have a 3-button mouse or to emulate a 3-button mouse on your laptop. The VM that you're going to log into is a Linux VM. It's Red Hat like everything else here, so it would help if you had some familiarity using Linux. And for the programming classes, we're not going to teach you how to write C code or Perl code or Python code. That should be something you already know how to do to begin with. We're going to teach you about the actual APIs. And we'll talk more during the tutorials about how to log in and how to get started, but we'll use the wireless access point that's in here, APS conference. We'll tell you again the server name, and the logins will be provided during the tutorial sessions. So I know that was a lot of information very quickly. I do thank everyone for coming. I didn't expect to have such a full house as we do today, but I'm really glad that that happened, and enjoy the rest of the courses.